This episode of An Abundance of Naught is brought to you by Amazon.com. Amazon affiliated with us. We're very happy about it. Please go to anabundanceofnaught.com, click on the Amazon banner, and do all your shopping as normal. Bookmark for ease of use. We appreciate it.
And TLDRgamer.com. When you don't have a whole lot of time to read the gaming news and just want the brief excerpts, visit TLDRgamer.com for the core info. Thank you to them for the hosting and bandwidth for our podcast. Enjoy the show.
Let's try this again. Gyarados here with An Abundance of Naught with Wade and Brad. Wade's laughing
Am I
his
in
ass
this time?
Yeah, you are. There you are.
Oh,
God.
okay. All right.
So we're laughing at some...
Technical stupidity?
That's probably a good way to put it.
Let's go with that. I had nothing to do with it at all.
I see shifty eyes over there. But anyway.
Ever.
You had nothing to do with it except for...
Kind of all of
Everything.
it.
Yeah.
Pretty much all of it, yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't my fault except for that whole big section over there that I kind of had a part in.
That no
But
longer
apart from that,
exists.
I mean,
thanks
who's
to
counting?
What?
I said, but apart from that, who's counting?
I think your wife probably. Your wife is probably counting.
Maybe.
She's probably got a tally of every time I've screwed something up.
She's got a clicker like on her arms. Click. Click.
It's like a pedometer,
Click.
only it's every time Garrett screws up, it ticks away.
She's getting like... What's it for, like... Is it carpal tunnel? I think it's in the wrist, but like in her thumb. Because she has to do it so much.
What's the, I always forget the name of the thing, but the old counting deal with the beads that go laterally?
An Atticus?
Abacus. Yeah, she's got one of those.
The heck? What's an Atticus? What the hell is that?
I think it's somebody's name.
Atticus Finch. To Kill a Mockingbird.
Wow.
How the hell did you know that?
Thank you, brain.
Wow. That was a reference of, like, Jesus, that's 15 years ago for me. Not quite
That was
15, but
actually a classy reference.
It was. I'm surprised.
Like, educated. I feel out of class.
I do. I'm going to go sit in the corner.
Yep. Okay, we're done.
Podcast over. We can't top that.
That's right. Nah, we're not about topping each other. We're all about
A sophisticated talk about nothing?
a sophisticated discussion about useless information.
That too. So, what are we talking about this time?
Can you name the only cat species that does not have retractable claws?
Wow. Talk about a game of jumps.
Useless information for everyday
Isn't
life.
that the cheetah?
It is the cheetah.
Ah.
Useless information for everyday life.
Okay, I'm getting like two things right.
The life at the party.
Wee-hoo! We got party favors.
I've got two things right. Something's wrong.
Huh? Oh, because you're getting things right?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Well,
The universe is spinning the wrong direction.
Yep.
yeah. You know how they say the poles of the Earth switch every so often
Yep.
throughout history? I think we're
It's
in the
happening.
presence of, yeah.
Yep.
So, well, we all had long weekends. Some of us longer than others. How was your weekend, Mr. Brad?
It was pretty good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You care to elaborate on that?
Let's see. We got more snow.
Okay.
Yeah, that was exciting.
So you can now not get out of your house? Is that what's going on?
Again?
I did end up with some travel difficulties. That is true. It was honestly not getting out of the house. It was getting into my destination. But, you know, what are you going to do?
Grab the skis.
That's it.
Complain about it on An Abundance of Naught.
That's right, yeah. The airport that we flew into, the airport that we needed to fly through, the stop-off airport, we were delayed for weather reasons, and it wasn't until we were underway that the captain announced on the plane that the weather reasons were the airport we're going to hadn't plowed the runway yet.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So we get there, and evidently just to get the airport reopened, all they had done was plowed the runway and a strip to the terminal.
That's awesome.
None of the taxiways were plowed. When it came time to take off again, we taxied out through that little strip and taxied down the runway, and then got to the end of the runway and did a full 180 on the runway.
Nice. What airport was this?
Johnstown, Pennsylvania.
Oof.
Little bitty place.
Itty bitty living space.
Itty bitty little place.
Okay, well that was Monday, or was that Monday for you, or was that yesterday?
That would have been Tuesday for me.
Okay, so you actually got a holiday.
Yes.
Tell us all about this wonderful concert that your wife drug you to.
Something she had wanted to do for a long time.
Yeah. Keep in mind she is listening, so keep this. Don't say anything you wouldn't want her to hear.
Oh, she can listen to whatever she wants to.
And probably does.
And probably does. No, just something she'd wanted to do for a long time. She's a big country music fan, so one of the big country music singers, George Strait, is on what is supposedly his retirement tour at the moment. So it's kind of a now or never.
Which is interesting, because I thought I saw in the news a while back that Garth Brooks is looking to start touring again.
Well, you know how musicians are. They retire and then start again.
They retire, they have less than $1 million in their bank account, they decide they need money, they go back on tour.
I wonder if it's the money or if it's the excitement. I mean, he was talking about it on stage, how he just gets a kick out of having that many people there and the atmosphere and the applause. And
I know Garth Brooks has come out and said that he has enough money that his grandkids will never spend it all. And
Yeah.
I'm thinking,
Are
you sure about that? Because got some ideas.
challenge accepted.
Unfortunately, we are not Garth Brooks' grandkids.
Sadly, no. But I'm still willing to be adopted.
Details will be in the show notes.
Wow.
So we drove. We went for a little road trip. About a three and a half hour drive from us. Which my wife and I do awesome on road trips. We love taking road trips together. So we made it like a mini vacation and went and spent the night at the stadium listening to Garth. Or now you've got me listening to the other guy I mentioned,
Mr. George Strait.
George Strait. That's the one. Yes.
Yeah, that's the one.
The one. So
One of the other guys.
Very good. Did you do anything?
21,000 people.
Oof.
It was a packed stadium.
And
Go ahead.
Did you do anything special for your wife for Valentine's Day? Or was this part of it?
That was part of it.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Cop out.
Concert?
Cop out.
A concert is a cop out?
Well, she's had these tickets for a while, right?
Well, yeah.
Okay. So you didn't really do anything special for the day because of the day. You kind of just use these tickets as kind of your meal ticket.
Honey, I'm going to have to sit through this Valentine's Day done. I can get away with that.
Anyway, how was your weekend, Wade?
Yeah, Wade, how was your weekend?
Sad, boring, and uneventful.
Really?
Most like other of my weekends, except for the movies.
Really?
Oh, multiples. I heard a plural there.
Yes, you did. What are you getting at?
What did we all do Saturday?
I honestly
You were there.
cannot remember.
You got a Slurpee that you kept refilling.
Oh, Santa Monica, right.
It's okay.
I was tired that day, so I was just like a zombie at that particular point.
You weren't a zombie when you were sucking down that icy.
This was plugged in the Facebook feed. We have to cover this,
That's right.
or we will get irate letters from both of our listeners.
All 2.5 of them.
All 2.5.
No, so for my daughter's birthday, my uncles decided to treat us to the Santa Monica Pier, which is a little mini kind of fair-esque amusement park over the water.
It's like a boardwalk, isn't it?
It's, well, not really.
But there's an amusement park on it?
It's a pier, and it's got a few little rides, kind of fair-esque rides. They've got a little roller coaster that, is fun, and they've got a swing, this, double-way swing that when you get up to its peak, you hit 0G, and then you come back into it. And just little things like that.
See, that makes so much more sense now. When I read that on the Facebook feed that you're going to be talking about Santa Monica Pier, I'm like, okay, so you went and saw boats.
So I went and walked on some wood and saw some boats.
Yeah.
And
Were you going to start singing Under the Boardwalk? I mean,
Under the Boardwalk.
No, don't.
And now we have one.
And we just lost a listener. Great.
Yep.
My uncle, our uncle, paid for a unlimited rides bracelet for my daughter and myself, which came out to about $40 out of pocket. And we pretty much ran around, and whatever she wanted to go on, we did. We did the 0G swing. We did the roller coaster. They have a little... it's a little ride that you can spin yourself around while it spins around. It's kind of the teacups at Disneyland, if you're familiar at all.
I am.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
Unfortunately. My dad and I, back in the day, used to get those teacups spinning like you couldn't believe. So my daughter and I are sitting in this little hot air balloons that you sit in and you spin these things, and we were going up pretty good. I wish there was a video clip because it felt like we were going about 900 miles an hour, but it was pretty good.
It was 3.
It was 3 miles an hour. Just 3. But, yeah, no, we had a good time. Got some food on the pier. There's a little burger place there that was Pier's Burgers or something. What was it called? Remember?
Something like that.
It's like $60 for 3 burgers, fries, and drinks, but they were decent.
Holy crap.
You pay for the nostalgia of it. And
was actually the funniest point for me on the... No, there were 2 things. It was that one ride you kept on saying hi to people as you came up.
Yeah.
That was...
It was pretty funny.
We were dying at that particular point.
Okay, so there's one ride that's got a main unit that spins clockwise. And that's got 3 arms off of it, and that's got sub-units that then have 3 seats, but those spin counterclockwise. So if you kind of draw, a circle of the area, you kind of make a star pattern all the way across the whole grid.
If you were to follow one particular seat.
I don't remember what it was called, but okay. I don't really know how else to explain it than that. But once you hit a certain point and you spin, you're looking at your destination the entire way across the area of the ride, essentially, the
pretty much
circular area. So as we would set, you'd slide over, and then I'd go and I'd point at people off to my side, and you're only, my finger might be 2 feet away from them when we come to a stop before we get slingshot again to the other side. So I'd be saying hi to people, or I'd be pointing at kids, or, there's one guy operating it, and my daughter and I'd be like, worker! And then we'd shoot across to the other side, and we just had a lot of fun. We did that, I think, 2 or 3 times, and people got a kick out of it. It was pretty fun. No, and then we went we did that the first time, and then when we were in line the second time, we saw a kid riding it who was in line when we were riding it. So he was sitting and he was pointing at us before they started and was laughing and looked over at his mom and was pointing at us. So we made some impression. Whether it was a good one or not, I don't know.
There's those guys that need to be committed.
That's right.
Only him, actually. I wasn't on the
Just
ride.
me.
So.
Just me and my daughter. But she had fun with it, and that's really all that mattered. And then my uncle's got her an American Girl doll. I don't know if you've ever seen the infomercials. I doubt that you would.
I have not.
But they're essentially dolls that girls can have ordered or customized to mirror them. Hairstyles, skin coloration, that kind of stuff.
It'd eventually take their soul.
Pretty much. Chucky reincarnate. So she got that. They're like $120, $150. And there's one store in Southern California, and it's in LA. But Wade's particularly fond of that. He loves anything with eyes that look back at him.
I don't need that thing running around when I wake up for work in the morning at 4:30. Yeah, it's like, guess what's getting burned?
Yeah. So Wade's had this little phobia forever. My mom had a little decorative angel and a bathroom that we shared. Wade would have to turn it so it couldn't look at him, whether it was facing the corner or facing down on the counter that it was sitting on. We had a pig in the kitchen that Wade would have to go and turn around so it wasn't looking at him while I ate breakfast. He has this thing about things with eyes.
Really funny is that I don't remember really turning any of those around.
Oh, it was funny. Every time I go to the bathroom, this little angel baby thing would be tilted face down on the wood, kind of mantle it was sitting on.
Like I said, I don't remember doing any of that, and apparently it would happen every day.
Every day.
Which just
made that much of an impression on you.
Chucky rang true with him or something, I don't know.
Alrighty.
But actually, there was a second part. This is back at the pier. There's a guy, the bumper cars operator, the first time you guys are going on.
Yeah.
This guy walks out onto the thing and starts counting them. And I'm just like, really?
So one group of kids get out of the bumper cars, and he has to go out and count the available amount of bumper cars to let that many people in on the next time.
Like one session's like, what, 5 minutes?
Yeah, if that. Pretty sure the number of cars didn't change between the last session and this session, buddy.
Hey, watch it.
Hey, what?
You got to be careful with kids these days.
The guy was like 20-something.
Yeah.
This wasn't a 10-year-old kid.
No. I mean, the ones riding. I mean, they may have walked out with the bumper car or something like that.
Yeah, this is true. They can fit in your pocket. They're just add water. And they... Yeah. I fear we may have a mascot tonight. The cat has decided to infiltrate the studio.
And then now it's giving you the eyes.
It's more like, pet me, human. You already fed me. Now do your other duty. Wade did mention movies. We'll talk about that here in a minute. Sunday didn't do jack myself. I lounged around and pretty much did... Oh, no, that's a lie. I'm a liar.
The cookie thing?
I know.
It was actually my former personal trainer's birthday. So me and a bunch of people met her for brunch in Newport. They hung around and did some drinking games on the beach. I did not stick around as having my daughter. I did not want to be irresponsible and or miss out on...
Intoxicated?
No. I got no problem drinking. But when I only get her so much time, I have a hard time justifying wasting that time elsewhere. So, did that in the morning. That was fun. In the afternoon, I didn't do crap. And then Monday, my daughter had a Girl Scout cookie sale booth thing with her mother. I had to take her to in the morning. That ended at about 10. After that, I didn't do crap.
Speaking of cookies.
Cookies.
One of the things my wife does with the children is they'll do a entire day of school about one subject. So everything that they do for that day is built around one particular item. And
you had a day of subject of cookies?
No, this week it was China. So for part of their, because I got to stay home for Monday, part of their exercises for Monday was we all made fortune cookies.
You know those aren't Chinese, right?
Do tell.
They were done in America for a nostalgia thing, or not nostalgia, but as a gimmick deal. But they're associated with Chinese food, but they're not the Chinese tradition, from my understanding.
I'll have to research further.
Okay. Anyway,
fact checkers go.
How was your fortune cookie experience?
It was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you get any good lottery numbers out of it?
Only the ones my wife gave me.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, isn't that one up to like 400 million?
Is it up to that high? I might have to buy a
I think
ticket.
I've heard.
I saw a billboard on it today, and it was 400 million for the Powerball.
Which you lose about 30 to 40% of that in taxes.
Yep.
And that's still plenty.
I could try and live off of that.
It'd be tough.
Challenge accepted.
That's right.
Let's do movies.
Okay, let's do movies. let me pull up my movie list. Coming out this coming week is Pompeii. This is with our buddy Kit Harington.
I thought that was out already.
No, that comes out Friday. For
right.
those who are not necessarily sure who Kit Harington is, Wade, you might know him as Jon Snow in Game of Thrones.
Okay.
Also coming out is 3 Days to Kill. This is Pompeii, according to this evening, has no rating yet, but 94% of users want to see it. This is users based on a Flickster app. Also coming out is 3 Days to Kill. This is Kevin Costner. This has a very Taken feel to it. He's like some CIA operative, whatever, but he's got his kid in the mix. Boyfriend drama or something like that. But looks very much like Taken, action-packed, mystery and suspense thriller type movie. This also has no rating, but 95% of people want to see it. And lastly, we have In Secret. This is 46% critic rating. This is a remake of an old film called Film Noir, based on an arranged marriage, a loveless arranged marriage in France. Actually, they're British and they travel to France. And then a love triangle comes out of it with the husband's friend, and the two now lovers plot to kill the husband to be together. So,
Creepy.
very moving. In the box office, the Lego Movie pulls in an additional $48.8 million for now an excess of $100 million in 2 weeks' time. About Last Night was a movie that just came out, another Kevin Hart movie we talked about briefly. $27 million. RoboCop pulled in $21.5 and Monuments Men pulls in $15 million. And in the movie analysis, RoboCop, it rated 49%, had 63 showtimes over the weekend based on our 3 local theaters. Again, pulling in $21.5 million overall, averages $341K a show. Winter's Tale came out last week, had 15% rating, only had 36 available showtimes throughout the entire weekend. It pulled in a max of 7.8 mil, averaged 216K a show. About Last Night is the, like I said, the, what's his name, Kevin Hart movie.
Snow.
Got 77% critic rating, had 54 showtimes at an average of 500K a show. And lastly was Endless Love, also at 15. Shut up. Brad's sending me messages through Skype and I don't appreciate it.
You know nothing.
I know nothing.
Thank you for clarifying that, 'cause that probably could have been taken the wrong way.
Okay. Yeah, sweet nothings through Skype?
Yeah.
That's inappropriate, Brad.
No.
So last one was Endless Love, 15% critic rating, showtimes of 63 over the same 3 theaters, averaging 212K a show. So, I mean, looking through these 3 movies, we had a decent range of ratings, 15% up to 77%. About Last Night had less showtimes than... What the hell are you sending me? I can't read my script and also read your message at the same time. I can't do it.
These are supposed to be programming notes. Read your script.
Shut up. So, but we had a range of different movie ratings, and then that didn't necessarily correlate to any showtime options. You had Endless Love at 15%, had the same amount of showtimes as RoboCop at 49%, and both of those were more than About Last Night that had a 77% critic rating. So it definitely shows
there's
that
no correlation.
Critic rating has no factor on showtimes and therefore revenue.
As it shouldn't.
It shouldn't.
We've discussed this before. Critics are critics, and it's their job to criticize. I don't think that necessarily gives an accurate portrayal of what the audience wants to see.
No, but there have been movies that have come out that the audience really enjoyed, the critics didn't like, and the people in the movie had made very bold statements of accusing the critic group of ruining the movie because they had scared enough people away from going to see it that it didn't do well.
Yep.
So, But that was some curiosity. I'm not sure if I'm still going to do this breakdown because it doesn't really give us any further insight knowing that now.
It was an experiment.
It was.
Sure.
I was curious for a couple weeks, and now I've gotten some feedback, and that's what's up. So
no result is still a result.
That's correct. So, as we mentioned, movies we're seeing this weekend. We went and saw the Lego Movie and then RoboCop. Taking your advice on the Lego Movie, it was very cute, very good, very funny.
Yes.
Batman had his quirks.
Absolutely.
Which I'm sure you really enjoyed.
Absolutely.
Brad is a not-so-closet Batman fan.
Yes.
He has Batman pajamas. I wouldn't be surprised, actually.
Tell everyone.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I can neither confirm nor deny that I do indeed.
That means that you do. So, yeah, a Lego Movie, very cute. I'm bummed that Will Ferrell had to be in it, but luckily his part didn't really take anything away.
Yeah, it was
not a Will Ferrell fan.
At all.
Alrighty.
Most of the family isn't.
Yeah, we don't get how you can. I mean, it's just not funny to us. We don't like stupid humor. We like stuff that's funny because it's funny, not just because someone's being an idiot, and that's typically his MO.
Yeah, it's most of his movies, in my opinion, it's him being a loud, obnoxious moron. And it's like, I don't... Only one movie really he played in really qualified that was Elf.
Yeah, it's one of the few movies I can stand of his because the character warrants the behavior.
Everything else is like, oh God, please just go away. Please just go away.
Alrighty.
But RoboCop wasn't blown away. A lot of people kind of...
Was that a spoiler?
No.
Okay.
Maybe. Pun intended. A lot of people kind of went in with this mindset. I didn't go in with any mindset really because although I've seen the original a couple times, it's not ingrained in memory. But a lot of people were concerned of taking a decent rated R movie of its time and toning it down to PG-13 and what's going to get lost in the process. I thought some of the action was good. I thought there could have been more of it and maybe a little less time on the politics. There was a really weird deal they did with Samuel Jackson where he's like this political news anchor, sort of. And just mid-scenes, it would just kind of cut to him in this news deal. And I don't think it did anything for the movie. If anything, it took away from it. But that was my opinion.
Yeah, you kind of felt it was less focused on Murphy, the RoboCop, in case anyone didn't know, than more focused on...
Now I know.
Yeah, now you know RoboCop's name. Movie's ruined.
Oh. I just saved you 2 hours. You're what? No. And yeah, it definitely felt like more of the politics of it, and it's just I don't go to the movie. It was like it's like Transformers. I didn't come here to see a teenager worry about his girlfriend issues. I came here to see giant transforming robots. I went to go see RoboCop to go see a RoboCop fight.
Yeah.
Not politics.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of the movie was about the political agenda for, the certain corporate powerhouses in play and whatnot. So, it's interesting. It wasn't horrible. I sit here and I try to think what could have made it better. And really, that to me, that would have been it, was toning down the politics and doing more of the action. So,
okay.
But yeah, didn't hate it, just wasn't wowed by it.
It wasn't the impressive blockbuster you were expecting or hoping for.
Correct.
It's a decent time sink, pretty much.
Yeah. It was decent. I didn't hate it, but I'm not going to rant and rave about it either.
Alrighty.
And that's going to do it for that.
Let's do the news.
Speaking of the news, someone was supposed to acquire an audio clip and hasn't done it, Brad.
Not that we're going to name any names,
Brad.
Slacker.
We will assign pseudonyms to protect the innocent, Brad.
Brad.
Anyhow.
Particularly you aren't the innocent, so we're good.
Not protecting anybody.
No protection required.
That's right.
So, you guys use Facebook. Do you remember anything about Google Plus?
I remember hearing about it.
It's not like MySpace.
Well, kind of ish. Now, actually, it's very recent. It's still up and running. It was Google's answer to Facebook.
You actually have to have a Google Plus profile, to my understanding, to utilize YouTube. You may not have to be active on it, but certain features of one pull from the other.
Well, that was the big thing. So they started Google Plus and got it going, and it was their version of Facebook. It was going to be their social network to try and supposedly pull people away from Facebook. And then Google did this weird thing where they combined all Google accounts into one master account, and you are quite correct. So if you had a YouTube account and a Google or a Gmail account and whatever other Google accounts you had, they all became merged into this one main Google Plus account. You didn't have to do any of the social stuff with it if you didn't want to, but it forced you to have it. You had to have it. And it kind of raised a few eyebrows as to why they would do this, and was it just housekeeping? Well, it comes out that they actually didn't care if you preferred Facebook and wanted to use Facebook. The fact that they had everybody merge their accounts and now could track under a single entity gave them a tremendous amount of data, and that's what they were looking for. To quote the Vice President of Product Management for Google Plus, Google Plus gives you the opportunity to be yourself and gives Google that common understanding of who you are. Now think of all the properties that are tied into this. They know who your contacts are. They know what kind of videos you like to watch. You use Google Maps. They know where you are, where you go, when you've been there, how long you stayed. It had very little to do with creating an alternate social network.
Sure.
And was more an excuse to get people to
My question
share
to all these
more.
tracking systems that are popping up is, to what means? What are they going to do with this information? What does it really give them? Sure, they know that John Smith went down to the local, searched the local, coffee shop or something, but are they going to start tailoring coffee ads directly to him in his area? I mean,
Yes.
is that really just the end game?
They're just going to start feeding into your head his dreams and be like, Joe's Coffee!
Minority Report.
Google Glass.
I don't know what the final end game is, the real end game, obviously, but at least for the moment, these are all advertising companies. I mean, we like to think of Google as a tech company, a search company. They're an advertising company. They sell ads. So the more data they can collect about you, the more accurate the ad they can display, and they're reselling that ad space to various other companies. And the value of that ad space increases with how targeted it is. So I may pay 2 cents for an ad that reaches everybody from 18 to 35. But if I can reach somebody aged 18 to 24 living in the Los Angeles area who likes to drink Starbucks coffee on Tuesday afternoons, well, now I've got a very, very, very focused audience.
That is creepy.
I'm more than happy to pay more.
That's the scary thing.
I'm more than happy to pay more for that ad because I know my ad is now reaching somebody who's likely to be interested in what I'm selling.
Yeah, you're fine-tuning and really being able to offer the ability to target your true target demographic.
Sure.
To give it actual easier reference, it's like fine-tuning a car to get the much horsepower out of it.
Yeah.
Sort of.
You want to get the most performance out of what you've put into it. and I'm prepared to pay more for a finer targeted audience. Yes, if I go for the blanket ad, I may reach more people, but there's a lot of noise in there, right? I'm going to reach the person who absolutely hates coffee. Well, that does me no good. So now I'm paying for an ad that I automatically,
switch the channel on.
It's a waste.
Yep.
Whereas it's worth more if I can fine-tune it. And then they can start do targeted sales campaigns. Like, okay, I know that you visit this coffee shop on Tuesday afternoons. What if I gave you a coupon to that coffee shop for a Thursday? Can I get you to come in?
Sure. I just had a thought. I mentioned Google Glass earlier. What if they start streaming ads to your Google Glass when you're walking down the street?
You just
look over to Starbucks. Oh, you have a 10% discount card to this Starbucks for the hours of 5 to 7 p.m. on Wednesday evening.
I'm sure there would be people that would like that.
Yeah, but then there's people like me who are like, don't interrupt my day. I have emails that I subscribe to that I don't read because I feel I get them too often.
Straight, you have an email with a coupon of Mike's Deli that is 10% off.
No.
It's just...
No?
Yeah.
They wouldn't do it. Wouldn't surprise me.
Would probably like it.
I'm sure there would. If there was an option to engage and disengage that, great. But, I just...
Stay off the internet.
Agreed.
Unfortunately, it's coming down to that. This is done everywhere by everyone. You can limit your public exposure, limit what you put on, but Google's tracking you, Facebook's tracking you, Yahoo's tracking you. Everybody wants it.
And it all leads back
NSA is tracking you.
NSA.
I was about to say, all traces back to 3 little letters.
Yeah.
And Brad just got the shimmers. What?
Tremors? What?
Tremors.
Damn.
There's worms under Brad's hotel that's going to eat him alive.
Wow.
You're shaking so hard, you just...
Yeah. Having a seizure over there? You okay?
No,
Epicenter.
I'm good.
All right. Good.
Wade, what you got?
Yeah.
Well, kind of sad news. Irrational Games, the guys who make the BioShock series, were closed down by the owner, Ken Levine, stating that I am winding down Irrational Games as you know it. I'll be starting a entrepreneurial endeavor. Thanks for that. Big giant words. With Take-Two. That's going to mean parting ways with about 15 members of the Irrational team. So he's closing down the studio and is going to go with Take-Two. And I think they're also a development house as well, but he will be handing off the reins of the main franchise, being the BioShock, to 2K Games, and it'll be interesting to see where that goes in their hands.
Which 2K is a division of that evil giant that we love to hate, EA.
EA.
Oh,
Yay!
Everyone's... I don't know. I got nothing that starts with A.
Speaking of EA,
Agitator?
I've got things that start with A, but we're going to keep this PG.
This is true.
Speaking of EA, they had their Titanfall beta, and one of us got to play it. Not me.
No.
One of us got invited.
One of us got invited. One of us didn't get to play it.
Why?
I didn't have the time to get everything set up on the computer to do it.
Why?
There's this thing called work.
Why? You knew about this Friday-ish.
There's this thing called home life.
Yeah, you had 2 extra days.
Yeah, and I made the most of them, too.
Good for you.
Probably they're nice, too. I mean...
So, but...
But there's actually a point...
There's a point?
Oh, sorry, it's a side note.
I'm sure there was a point.
Yeah. But I was thinking to myself, like, well, I don't have an Origin account. Only to realize that I downloaded Spore, which is an EA game, which you need Origin to run on my first PC gaming rig.
So you totally could have signed up for it.
So I could have signed up for it if I remembered that I actually did have an Origin account.
You could have signed up for it under my account, too. I didn't opt for it because I don't care.
So, yeah, when I tried to sign in, it was like, well, signups are done. See you in March. Like, thanks, guys.
No.
But back to Irrational Games, Brad. You and I briefly discussed this, but it sounds like the owner,
Kevin
Levine, per your statement, is trying to get back to grassroots of his vision of development process.
That was my takeaway from it. He's been in with EA for quite a while now with BioShock, and there's no doubt it's been a tremendous success. I believe the sales figures I saw, it sold $500 million. I mean, that's not pocket change. But I imagine working with EA, there's some limitations on what he can and can't do, and it sounded to me from the press release that he's just wanting to go back to making games.
He did continue to say that he's going to go back and work on a new venture that focuses on a replayable narrative. So I guess it's he's really into that. I mean, I did really see that in the first BioShock. I mean, where I think I played that thing like 15 times because it was just that fun to replay.
And did they lose that in the later ones?
Most definitely. I mean, I said, BioShock Infinite was the first game I covered on this podcast, and I said that I was playing it again. I didn't even get to the halfway point of the second playthrough because I was like, you know what, I'm kind of not feeling this anymore.
Yeah.
Well, I'm wondering if, like we talked about last week with Bungie and Microsoft, is that if EA retains all the rights to BioShock and that franchise, and Irrational, because of the contract didn't, if he's looking to cut ties, do his own thing, maybe learn from that experience and start up new, just like the guys formerly of Bungie, or now back with Bungie doing Destiny. So
I wonder if we're going to see, excuse me. Sorry, I choked up there. I wonder if we're going to see him, come out, express more freedom and start bringing, better games again. Mm-hmm. I wonder if he was feeling the pressure from EA.
Uh-huh. He'll get back, he'll make better games again. EA will be like, okay, we want you. And he'll be like, sell, go back and make another one. And he's just going to start farming EA.
Yeah, maybe.
Flip side of that, I wonder if EA will continue to develop BioShock under a different studio.
It was under 2K.
Yeah, 2K Games. So they're now in possession of the franchise, so to speak, or have the licensing to develop. So we'll see what happens there. Reminds me of an old gaming development company by the name of Oddworld Industries, or Oddworld Entertainment, and they made a bunch of games for originally PlayStation 1 and then into Xbox. They were working on a game that was definitely a darker feel than any one they've done. And I don't remember who the production company was, but they were getting so much heat from the production company, and the game wasn't even complete yet, that they just stopped production and pretty much closed their doors. So,
ouch.
Pretty sad when the relationship gets that hostile that the industry suffers what could have been a great game never being produced.
I've heard of one indie company that lost when it's lost its funding when they said, nope, we're not going to add this particular how do I say this element into the game. They wanted to, the publisher wanted to put in, well, voluptuous anime girls in it, and the developer, the game is Guns of Icarus, kind of a steampunk airship battle game. They said, no, we're not going to do it, and lost their funding, but they continued on, and from what I've seen, it's actually a pretty good game.
It's sad when, like you were saying, Garrett, when you get that friction. You know, what can be a very productive relationship quickly deteriorates.
Yeah. Agreed. Well, we got background noise.
Uh-oh.
Weird.
So, little interesting article here we can touch base on, and we can either choose to dive into it further or choose to move on. But when a publicly traded company starts using their shares as a bargaining tool, Facebook has offered a app company. The app name is called WhatsApp. A total value of $19 billion for possession of the app. The app is a Wi-Fi based text messaging piece of software, so that whether you're on an Apple versus Samsung or whoever in whatever carrier, you can message more or less for free. You're not bound by the limitations of your carrier, provided you're linked on Wi-Fi. Facebook offered a similar app company that was only around for a couple of years, somewhere in the ballpark of $3 or $5 billion, and they turned it down. But this app, WhatsApp, has been around for at least 5 years now, far more established. They've got hundreds of millions of people that use it, and now offering a value of $19 billion. That comes in play in, I believe it's $3 billion in cash. The rest are in subsequent stock options.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, for a seemingly basic app. I mean, how can you I guess I don't understand how you can justify so much money on something that isn't necessarily a revenue generator, unless this is a subscription-based feature, but it's a lot of money to recuperate.
Well, occasionally, though, these are not so much about what they've done, but what they can do. There's a term in the industry called acquire. That's with an H. Essentially, it's acquisition hiring. You buy the company to get the talent. You don't actually want what they've done.
Well, Zuckerberg said in at least on his Facebook wall, that they were looking at this app and the other one that they offered to previously because they want to make connectivity and communications less inhibited people to people. So they want to be involved in opening more doors and freeing up the means to interact with other people. Whether that's true or not, but
aiming to replace the Facebook chat service with this.
That's a strong possibility. Yeah, I mean, I didn't really think about that. A lot of people kind of have a love-hate relationship with that, so...
Well, and Facebook has already made it clear that their intention is not to build a super master app that does everything. I don't know if you've noticed that, but you have your Facebook app that does your main page, your main news feed. And then, for those of us that are running company pages, there's a Pages app. It's completely separate.
Correct. And there's a Messages app now. You can do messaging through the core Facebook app, but clearly they have another app that's more specialized for that purpose.
And from what I've seen of their strategy, they are trying to do better single-use apps rather than a,
jack of all trades.
A half-baked master app that tries to do everything and fails.
Yeah.
So I wonder if that's where this would come in. They could, if this WhatsApp service is any good, rather than trying to fix their messaging service, they just acquire it and, seeing as they're looking to go for multiple apps anyway, then this fits right in with their model. Just integrate it and go.
Yeah, again, it's just $19 billion for something that you're going to integrate to a standard service is a lot of value. Again, it's not $19 billion in cash, out of pocket now, but it is that net value.
Yeah.
So we'll see where that goes.
Hey, Facebook, I'll come up with something you can buy.
Yeah.
Give me a couple minutes.
Yeah. Be right there.
Yeah. Contact me. Call me. Call me, Zuckerberg.
Whoa there.
That was inappropriate.
Have you guys heard of the little smart home adapters that allow you to remote control electrical outlets with your phone?
I have now.
Vaguely.
Vaguely. They're made by Belkin. They go by the trade name of Wemo, W-E-M-O. And they allow you to take standard outlets and standard appliances like coffee makers, lamps, fans, etc. And you put this in between them, and it's a wireless Wi-Fi technology that allows you to remotely turn the outlet on and off.
Okay.
Well, they tried to do things right, and failed so horribly in the process that it was just horrible. So they are on your Wi-Fi network, on your internal Wi-Fi network.
Yes.
Now, to try and prevent people from taking these over, we have discussed before public key cryptography, where you have a public and a private key,
Yes.
and you can use it either to encrypt or to verify. So they used this to verify or sign the firmware, the actual software in the device, so that way nobody could hack in and replace it with any other than official Belkin firmware. Except they also put the private key on every device they sold.
Like physically stamped on it?
No, like in the software.
Okay.
So everybody that bought one had the private key that was used to sign the firmware to prove that it was authentic.
Okay.
And someone found it.
Well, just by buying one, hackers had all the tools needed to fake firmware. So
But how does that work with other units? You can't. If you have the private key to your own unit, big deal, in my opinion.
they're all the same.
See, there's that little bit of info.
I could have guessed that
There's
that
the
one.
kicker. Yeah, no, they're all Belkin. All of these devices are signed with the same key, and it's supposed to be. That's the way it verifies, right? It downloads it from the server and verifies that it's against that key.
Okay.
So that's proper. What they did wrong was putting the key on the device, so that when a hacker bought it, he had the private key. He had the piece that said, anything I make is real. Accept it. Download it. Which made these things very, very trivial to hack. The bad thing about that is once you've hacked them, they're a little dumb device. It's an outlet switch.
Yeah, it's an on-off.
It's an on-off switch. It's not like you can do a whole lot malicious with it. Except that it's on your Wi-Fi network. So, once they could compromise these, it provided a really nice launching point to hack anything in your house because it's already on your private network.
So because these were open internally, once it can get inside the network, it was free reign.
Yep. They had the keys to the kingdom. Very literally. So for any of our listeners, both of you, that have one of these, which I don't think you do, but just in case, Belkin has updated their firmware, official firmware. As long as you have the latest version, it does close this loophole. So I'm guessing they changed their key and are no longer providing it to the device. But download the latest firmware, the latest software for your iOS or Android device, and it does close the security loophole. This has been a public service announcement from an abundance of Naught.
Fantastic.
Yes. It's amazing as we're progressing towards what's being termed the Internet of Things. Smart devices, smart fridges, smart washing machines, everything's becoming interconnected.
Yep.
These
there's
companies...
electronic door locks now that access Bluetooth to your phone, so you don't need a key anymore. It
Yep.
when your presence to it, it unlocks for you. And
But that I'm actually less concerned about. If I'm buying a wireless lock, a lock is a security device. This company is thinking about security when they're developing it, right?
And we hope so, at least.
In theory.
Yeah.
In theory. When I buy a washing machine that has a wireless connection, how much thought is the washing machine manufacturer giving to security? Is that what they do?
Yeah, agreed.
So many devices are coming out, if they're not out already, that are interconnected and, reporting and have all this smart technology in it. But these companies are consumer electronic device manufacturers. Washing machines, refrigerators, they don't do security. That's not their specialty.
Agreed.
So, all of these things are coming inside your firewall. They're on your private network. They're on the inside. And they're not, they're not security focused.
That's what a Cisco ASA is for.
Well, another public service announcement. If you're going to get into this, and I think we're going to reach a point where it just is, set up 2 Wi-Fi networks.
One to handle all your internal light switching things, then...
But how does that work? If you can't access it from the outside, doesn't it kind of... The stuff that, like those light switches that you can control with your phone, you have to be connected on the internal network in order to access them, correct?
A lot of them you don't. They have a cloud service that you connect to. So as long as your devices, your light Wi-Fi network can access the internet, and you can access the internet, you don't actually have to be on the same network.
But your recommendation is have one network for your more sensitive pieces of electronics, your computer, that kind of stuff, and a separate network for the stuff that doesn't really matter, washing machine, and for example, fridge, light switches.
Oh no, the hacker changed my whites to cold instead of hot.
Exactly.
My ice maker's making crush, not cube. Yeah. No, the world is over.
You have the Philips Hue lights, and the hacker changed your lights from white to blue. That's minor stuff.
It's just a disco. What the?
Now we're partying. Oh, yeah.
And when you have visitors come over, give them the password to that network, not your internal private one.
Yeah.
Keep it safe. Keep it segmented.
I hate it when you come up with ideas like this because you want me to go out and spend more money on stuff that I don't necessarily need.
Shop at Amazon.
Well played.
You suck.
Well played, sir.
Well, we need to. You got another one here, and I think we can about wrap it up because we are coming up on the hour mark for sure.
All right, let's pound this out then. Gabe Newell, CEO of Valve, or the Steam behind Steam.
The Steam behind Steam?
Yeah.
What you did there, I saw it.
Thank you.
Oh, okay, because he kind of went fast for me, and I wasn't picking up on it.
I
wasn't picking up what you were laying down.
Ice to cool down that brain of yours?
Please.
All right.
Chisel it off my heart.
The Steam behind Steam.
Yep. Came out to put some fears to rest from issues that from Counter-Strike players noticed that their game was checking their browser history.
What?
Gabe stated that the reason it checked your software and then checks a site to confirm that that payment has been received from a hacking program to check that if you have paid a site for a hacking program for Counter-Strike.
So they're trying to alleviate third-party intervention in the game.
Yeah, it's to alleviate the third-party DRM.
So it's digging through your browser history to make sure you haven't bought things to hack Counter-Strike.
Correct.
So clear your browser history. Sorry.
That's so you.
Should I say that on air?
So we know who's a Counter-Strike player.
Yeah. We know who the computer engineer is.
Continuing on, as in true Gabe Newell Valve fashion, he left this little FAQ with 1. Do we send your browse history to Valve? No. Number 2. Do we care what explicit sites you visit? His answer, oh dear God, no. My brain just melted. And finally, number 3, is Valve using its market success to go evil? His return to that was, I don't think so, but you have to make the call if we are trustworthy. We try really hard to earn and keep your trust.
I say they haven't. I mean, where's Half-Life 3? What's that, like 12 years overdue now?
Probably. Although I never got into the Half-Life series, so
Neither did I.
I guess I'm free from that torment.
Ah.
Although I am still enjoying Rust. I finally got into that server, and I may try to play some more tonight. The problem with this game is, if you don't play regularly, you run the risk of losing everything. So
It's got you.
Yeah,
it does.
It has you.
Sucks.
It's got you and it sucks you in.
Mm-hmm. What's really bummed out about it, though, is that I think my system is just not capable of running it efficiently.
Mm-hmm.
So I think other players have more of an advantage than I do.
To which I would advise him, and Bradley's going to hate this, you may have to get a Windows machine to play games.
Oh, there's no argument about that. You definitely have more options there. But anyway, we're getting off topic and
Yes, we are.
rant-tastics. I got nothing else, especially considering our time situation.
Yeah, I think that does it.
Any last-minute touch bases on tidbits of goodness?
What's coming
Nope.
up in the channel?
Nah, no one cares about that.
Check out the YouTube
Wow.
channel. Check out our Facebook. Share our Facebook with your friends. Get more people to listen. We'd appreciate it.
Yes, we would. And on that note, we're out of here.
Keep on gaming, everyone.
That's a wrap.
We here at Abundance of Naught do appreciate you listening in and would also appreciate you sharing us with your friends via the Stitcher Radio app and also iTunes. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter and join us at Facebook. Thank you.